Welcome to Bearing It All with Rose and Chrystal.
Where the conversations get real, emotions run raw, and nothing is filtered.
Buckle up, because we're bearing it all, deep diving into everything from motherhood to mental health and everything in between. We want to get to know you, each other, and our bodies, and things are going to get spicy.
Real spicy. Are you ready for it?
Let's do it. Welcome to the first episode of Bearing It All. I'm oddly nervous, and I am Rose Oates
and Chrystal Russell.
And we're going to start our first episode off with you guys getting to know us a little, a bit of our why, as to why we wanted to start the podcast in the first place, why it's Bearing It All, what you can expect to hear in the coming episodes, and just about us.
Pretty much. Rose and I have known each other around 4 years, and over that time we've got to know each other quite well. She was just this fun girl that I met at an event once, and I was like, she my type of person.
That's right. And I mean, I think it is hard, to make friends when you're an adult. And I think when you know and you meet somebody and you feel like that's your person, from the get-go, that's a good sign.
It is.
And I'm glad we just went with our guts, and we were I think the reason I did like you though is you were just yourself with me.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had to put on a front or not be the goofy, stupid, person or, be anything that wasn't who I was.
Yes.
And that's where that level of comfort comes from.
And it is funny because I literally feel like I've known you my whole entire life. It's so bizarre. And actually, while we were on holiday recently, my son made a comment to me that made me feel so happy. He was like, Mum, do you know when you're around Rose, you're such a happy person?
Oh,
I know. And he's like, let's hang out with them more because you're like the happy you. And I'm like, that's because she brings out the best in me.
Oh my God, you've hit me on a day where I'm really emotional.
Oh.
Today I'm really emotional. Tato went to kindy for the first time, and then we watched this beautiful video of our friend's wedding, and then you hit me with that, bitch.
Sorry.
You hit me with that. But
it is true.
It's true. I feel the same way, my kids fell in love with your whole family on that holiday, and it's just a testament to who you are. And I think I am emotional. I am an emotional person, on every spectrum, from happiness to sadness, and I'm equally fiery as well.
Yeah.
So, but it's true. I think some people bring out the best in you, and some people bring out the worst.
Yeah.
And I think in friendship, it's really important to actually feel like I'm bringing out the fun. I'm bringing out the real person, that truth. Who you are when you are starting school for the first time.
Yes.
Speaking of kindy or pre-primary, you just go in so innocent. You are who you are, you like what you like, and you're not even ashamed of it. And then we grow and we become ashamed.
And you're also not afraid to find your friends at that age, I feel. You're like, oh yeah, that person gets me. I like the same things as them.
And if you don't like something, you've got good boundaries when you're younger. When you watch a kid play and they're like, no, I was playing with that, mate. Give it back to me. They're not afraid to say exactly how they feel.
Yes.
And then we lose that when we grow up, and society and teachers and manners and all this stuff, we start to learn not to, it's almost like we learn not to be ourselves, because it's almost like we feel like it's not enough.
We recently had this conversation actually with the podcast because I was so nervous to be myself on here and have people accept me and like me.
Yeah, actually, yeah. So let's go into that, because we met up last week and we had recorded another 2 episodes, and Chrystal came around and it was eating her up, and she's just like, I just don't feel like I was myself, my true self. And I could hear it. In you, but I didn't know how to, I was obviously going to tell you. I was like, what's going on there? And I think because we just forgot that we were talking to each other, and the reason why we wanted to start it, and the nerves of wanting to be liked.
It is actually soul crushing, the whole thing of what if we record something and then people don't actually want to listen to us. So I was putting on this fake persona, I think, but now this is me, guys. I just thought 2024, fuck what anyone cares. That I care what anyone thinks about me. I'm just going to be me.
Yeah, and that's the best. That's who I love. That's my friend. That's why we're doing this together. And that conversation was so important, and I want to like go into a little bit more. Like when you were telling me all of that stuff, I was even thinking, what do I want for 2024? And I was like, I want to just let down my guard and be okay. This is my last year in my 30s. I don't actually.
My girl.
I'm 39 in a month.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I want to approach this? Like, it is a pivotal year. And I'm like, 2024, when you were telling me all of that, I just want to go into this year and I want to be myself. It actually inspired me.
No.
And I was really, really proud of you because it's not easy to listen to yourself and go, actually, who the fuck is talking?
It was like that.
We're
I
not
left
releasing
the studio.
those.
I left the studio and I was like, that was somebody else in my body. Like, it was not me.
By the way, we're not releasing those episodes.
Sorry, guys.
They were still interesting and they're still topics that we're going to touch on. But the reason why this podcast is called Bearing It All is because we want to bear it all. The truth, the raw, the real. We want to be unedited.
And I think letting your guard down is actually more scary than you think.
Yep.
Because we were like, nah, we're going into this. We're going to be ourselves. As soon as you sit in here and get in front of the microphone, it's like shaky, like what you're going to say.
Yeah. I think vulnerability, and I've talked about this so much before, is a strength. Yet to actually be vulnerable is so fucking hard. Mm-hmm. It's actually really difficult, more difficult than you actually first think, to actually be truly vulnerable. And even though I say like it's easy, like it's harder than we think and blah, 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 I think most of actually at our core, we do know that. None of us like to seem weak in front of somebody else.
Yeah, that's right. I think you do it really well though on your socials. Like I feel like you're quite vulnerable all the time. I feel like you do it a lot with your body and your family and you show a lot. And I think that's where I was like, I can't let you down.
Oh my God, you would not let me down, but I think it's a process.
Yes.
I think that's taken me so much work.
Yeah.
So many tears. And I've never been dishonest in saying that I'm still working on it. There are still days, like I'm not even going to lie, like, and I've told you this, like this week, I've felt, for some reason, I've just felt so tired and exhausted and all this stuff. And so I've felt shit about myself. I've felt shit about my body and I've felt ugly and I've felt chunky and I've felt all the things. And I know it's not my body and I know it's not my looks from the work, but it doesn't stop me from feeling it. And I'm like, what the hell? And it doesn't matter how much work you do. I think we're human beings.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have those days where that ugly monster is in our head.
Yeah, that mean girl is going, oh, you look like a piece of shit. Who do you think you are? You know, the imposter syndrome. And being vulnerable is hard and it's easier to show up and not be vulnerable.
And I think that's why this podcast is so important to us, because this is now an outlet for us to bring up all those topics that everyone wants to talk about that maybe you don't want to ever ask somebody because it's like the shame around it or embarrassment around it. And there's so many topics that are like so juicy to us that we need to know the dirt.
Don't we just, let's be honest here. We all love the goss, mate. When you're with your besties in a safe space, I mean, there's difference between gossiping, like as in like a mean way, and then just getting the juice.
Yes.
Like you just want to listen to it and you can have kindness and all of that. But we all love a bit of goss.
Oh my God, I live for it.
Oh, love it.
Like, tell me those stories.
Yeah, and I think, like Chrystal said before, shame thrives in isolation. So the more that we are feeling shame and embarrassment and then we don't tell anyone, then we hide it, it actually just grows and grows and grows within us, and it makes us like turn into people that we don't even know. So if we're embarrassed all the time, we're going to put on a persona. We're going to put on a fake person. We're going to put on a, this front. And I'm sick of shame. I'm sick of shame around sex. I'm sick of shame around women enjoying it, or shameful in like how long it takes to grieve, mental health, over divorce, over postpartum. I mean,
There's literally 1,000,001
Yeah.
topics that we can touch on around this, and there's so many interesting facts. So we've lined up quite a few guest speakers that are going to come in and actually touch base, whether they're professionals or friends of ours or just people that have reached out and said, hey, I would love to talk about this subject. It's really exciting for us because I feel like it's going to open up a lot of education. It's going to open up a lot of questions that people have around different subjects.
It's just going to break some taboos and open up some conversation, because I think these are the questions we're going to ask, and we were talking about this yesterday, is that we're gonna obviously ask consent and all of that sort of stuff, but we want to get to the nitty gritty. We want to ask the questions that we're all dying to ask, but sometimes a little bit too embarrassed to. You can't just ask anyone. And I was talking to a therapist that came into the salon yesterday. And she was saying that so many people want to ask questions. So many people want to seek information, but they're often too embarrassed to. Or they don't know the right way to ask someone, or they're embarrassed that they'll ask in the wrong way and they'll offend somebody. So we really want to ask those questions.
Yeah, and I think we've created such a nice safe space here that we want people to come in here and be like, you know, telling us everything and letting us ask the questions.
Exactly. So we're going to expose and bare our own souls as well, because collectively Chrystal and I have been through a lot in our lives, and are definitely going to touch on some really raw subjects. But some of it's going to be fucking hilarious. Some of it's just going to be goss. Some of it's just going to be us chatting as mates.
Some of it's going to be real serious stuff with a professional who's going to actually tell us how it is.
Yeah.
And we're going to educate ourselves on different things.
There's so much that we don't know. And I'm probably like, and the fact that we don't know, I think is the fact that like a lot of other people don't know. And I think even when we share on socials, and I don't know if it's the same, I'm assuming it's the same with you, but when we do share things, it's often the feedback that I thought I was the only one. So we're going to touch on some really like, you know, hard, heavy hitting topics like mental health, suicide and grief. Chrystal herself
I lost my dad to suicide recently. I mean, I know 2 years is a long time, but it still feels like it happened yesterday for me. And I'm still in the dark depths of grief. So I think a lot of people go through that, whether they've lost a family member to like cancer or illness or, you know, suicide. It's still, I think everyone else kind of moves on because, you know, they've still got to live their life, but the people who are around that person still suffer for a long time after. But obviously there's lots. There's postpartum, which I know Rose is going to touch a little bit on as well. You know, there's going to be divorce. We've got a few friends that are going to come in and have a chat about that. We've got a relationship coach as well. But I mean, all of these subjects I think most people have gone through. And it's real life.
I think this is exactly why we wanted to start it.
Yes.
So many of these subjects, they seem so, you know, when we're just saying it out loud, sex, postpartum, women's health, aging, divorce, we're like, oh yeah, happens every day.
Yeah.
What do we know about them? Nothing. Like, I know people that haven't orgasmed for like majority of their 20s and 30s. We know people that have obviously been affected by suicide, like Chrystal, postpartum depression, navigating your own relationships, your husband, your partner through postpartum and through life.
Or even infertility, like dealing with your relationship whilst trying to conceive.
Exactly. Or finding that out. How do you cope? Sexual awareness and wellness and understanding like who you are and what you are and like what sex you prefer, like male, female, what is it or what's happening? We're going to explore those topics and also learn, because we don't know a lot about some of these topics and we want to understand them too.
We're definitely so interested. Like, we were having a conversation yesterday and we were just like mind blown. Not going to talk about it because I don't think the person's comfortable, but it was just like juicy. We were dribbling.
I was like, oh my God, when this person is ready to share, we cannot wait, because
we were on it.
It was so intriguing. We had all the awkward questions that we wanted to ask. But there's things like that happen in life.
And I think too, for this person, it's still quite a touchy subject and probably not something that they're really open about yet, but we're going to get them to it.
Yes, we are. I know that they're wanting to share, but it will just be a matter of just giving that person a time to work through things themselves. And it's the same with us. It's been 2 years since Chrystal's dad has passed, and now she's ready to talk about it. I mean, it doesn't happen straight away, and it's the same with me. I've been through sexual assault and postpartum depression, and Esme is 3 this March, and it is only really now that I am feeling okay to talk about even the postpartum depression. I was actually, I'm going to be honest here, I was so fucking ashamed.
Yeah.
I was embarrassed to be like, I'm depressed and I don't love, that's hard to say. Not that I don't love my child, but I looked at her.
Feeling the feels.
No, I just looked at her and I was like, I know I love her, but I didn't feel love. And it's the most crushing thought you can even have. And it's taken nearly 3 years to go, you know what, I'm really ready to bear it and to share it. There's going to be shit in our relationships, sex, spending time together. We've been in long-term relationships, having those moments where you're like, I'm fucking done with you, bitch. Female friendships. We've got an amazing episode about, the ups and downs of female friendships coming up.
We've actually got Christy from Friend Her coming on. That is a really great episode. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. But I guess a little bit more into about us. So we always miss this part, and it's super important. So it's like, who are we? Okay. Who are you, Rose?
Jesus.
It's a hard question to get asked.
You know what? Now that you've asked me, I feel like you've put me on the spot. I'm like, who is Rose? And you know what I want? I went immediately, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to say, I'm Rose. I own this business and I've got 4 kids.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, but that's not who I am. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, I'm going to start with the sappy stuff that I put on a dating website. So I'm Rose. I love long walks on the beach. I really do. I love the ocean. It brings me a lot of peace. I love to work out. I love to be outside. I love making people laugh and entertaining them. It brings me joy. I'm a feeder.
You're good at it.
I'm 38 years old at the moment. I'm a Pisces. I am a dreamer, but I work hard to make my dreams come true, I think. I have struggled with body acceptance for most of my life. I've been through a fair amount of my own trauma, yet even though I'm still the glass half full. I feel like at one point I was embarrassed about that because I thought, you must be so naive to have all this stuff happen to you over your life and you still are like the positive. I still do think positively and I do love my life. Mm-hmm. My mission in life, I think as well, is just to be a good person, a good mum, a good friend, have made people laugh and to let women know how fucking worthy they are. We've got a long way to go and how amazing and incredible females actually are, that you're not lost, that you're just fucking living your life and you're on your journey.
That's making me emotional.
Oh, I know. So I didn't actually know I was going to come out with that, but I really didn't want to introduce myself as Rose, the mum of 4, wife to Craig. Who the fuck?
Yeah. I think as women, that's what we get caught up in.
Yeah.
It's like our job, we're a mum, we have a dog and a husband. It's like, what else?
But yeah. So then if I do the generic stuff, I am a mum to 4 daughters, and that's where a lot of this passion comes from. I'm getting shaky now. I've got 15, 13, I can't remember the other ages. No, 4 and nearly 3. I've been with my husband Craig since I was 20 years old. He was my next door neighbour. And yeah, I own my own business. I do interior styling and staging, and I'm also a content creator on Instagram and for some other businesses, including my friends.
Yes.
Including my friends. And I really, really love that. It's my passion. And I'm really proud to have started this podcast with my very good friend, my bestie, Chrystal.
I'm so grateful for you.
I am grateful for this woman sitting beside me, and I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone else, and now I'm starting to shake.
What?
But yeah, so then over to her. I want you to introduce yourself in the same way. Tell me who you
This
are.
is my
what you love.
Tinder profile.
Yes, your Tinder profile.
So my name is Chrystal. I hate the ocean. This is what's so strange, right? Because me and Rose are like connected as like soulmate best friends.
Yeah.
But she loves the ocean and I fucking hate the ocean.
we're like
It's so
opposites,
weird.
and we're the same and so different. She's
Same
black and
but
I'm
different.
white. Like, yeah.
The yin and the yang.
Yes.
So I don't really like the ocean. I'm fucking scared of the ocean. I feel like one day a shark's going to eat me. Which is actually funny because me and Rose are going on a boat party this Saturday and
She doesn't want to get.
I'm like, will it be weird if I stay on the boat the whole time?
I'm like, you're getting in the water.
I'm going to do it just for like a dare.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, jump in, get out before a shark eats me. Okay, back to my Tinder profile. I am 38 years old. I'm also creeping into the 40 territory and I'm actually so excited for
Yeah.
it. I feel like that's going to be the time of my life. Along with the grey hair, the chin hairs and whatever else. I'm not going to get wrinkles though because I love my Botox. So also on my Tinder profile, I love coffee dates. I am a foodie. Fucking went and had gastric sleeve done, so now I can only eat 2 mouthfuls of something.
But she still likes to overorder.
I will order 10 dishes and have 1 mouthful of each. That's fine. I am a big foodie, Italian background, mum's Italian, feeder, same like my good friend over here. I have 2 kids. Levi is 13 and Natalia is turning 10. Girls are fun, aren't they?
Oh my God.
There's lots we're going to have to delve into.
That's another episode
That is
altogether.
another episode.
Yeah.
Let's just say getting ready for the first day of school today was not my ideal morning. This is actually really hard.
It is hard, hey. She loves the colour pink.
I love the colour pink.
Fuck.
Pink is everything.
Everything.
I made Rose do pink for Bearing It All. I was like, how do you feel about pink? Because I already made the logo.
Guess what colour? Everything. She is a pink girl.
I was actually even contemplating getting my car wrapped pink, but apparently that's too excessive. So
Is it though?
Probably
Live your
not.
best life.
yeah, I should do it. I love my family a lot.
Yeah.
Probably sometimes too much, like get too passionate and too involved in their things that are going on. I have a sister. You've got 3 brothers?
I've got 2 brothers.
2
yeah,
brothers.
I've got 2 brothers. Yes.
That's right, 3 including you.
Yeah, there's 3 in me. I'm the oldest.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't really know what would you say about me? I don't even know.
Isn't that hard? I love
I
that
did
we
say
did
this. I don't know who I am.
I was like, as soon as I started talking, I was like, I realized what I loved, and it doesn't really matter who I was in my work. Okay, what I would say about Chrystal is she's a go-getter. She's not the sort of person that will go, I'm going to do that and then not do it. She is a doer. So there's some people like, I'm a gunner. Chrystal's, she's a go-getter. She goes and gets it and she gets it done, and it was really like, I love watching that about her. She just, don't get me wrong, we're both like deep dive 2 feet in and then realise that we can't swim, but we will find the life raft. We always find a way.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of person she is. She definitely does love her family and her friends passionately.
Yes.
To the point where like
It can be suffocating.
Yes, she wants to smother you to protect you, which it's actually a quality in itself. Like, you can't deny how beautiful that is. People know they're loved when you love them.
If I
they know
buy
they're
you
loved.
presents, you know that I love you.
She's that's one of her love languages. She is a great gift giver. She's a she's good to go out with. She definitely knows how to have a good time when she lets her hair down, and it's just pure Chrystal. She will get out there, party. Doesn't matter if she makes a goofball of herself and it makes people feel comfortable.
I feel like you know me better than myself.
I think it's because we watch each other from afar. It's easier.
Yeah.
It's easier to understand somebody else sometimes.
But you hit all the spots you did. And this is, I think, too, why both our husbands get annoyed at us, because we're just like looking for the next thing. Like, it's like we accomplish something and then we're like, all right, now what can we do?
Yeah.
Because we thrive on it.
Exactly. And I wonder if that's just ADHD or if it's almost something that we're looking for something to fulfill us. And I think we are looking I can feel it in myself that sometimes I'm looking to fill a hole. And I don't know if that's because of my past or
it could be, or it could just be like you're ambitious and there's things that you want to do. And also we don't want to like put ourselves in a box. We're like, no way, there's no four walls here. We can do anything.
Yeah. And I think that's also what we were trying to take into 2024. It's like, why do we need to fit in the box? Why do we need to be like what society thinks we should be, like this good mummy, and we've got to have our little job and we're going to be doing this and that, we've got to look a certain way. Like, why can't we just be ourselves? Because if we only get one life, which I'm not sure, we're going to deep dive into conspiracy theories as well, like if we only really live once, then let's live it well.
That's right.
And I think I've spent too many years of my life personally worrying about shit that doesn't matter.
I think like we need to just go into it with no regrets. Like in 10, 20 years, are we going to look back and be like, oh, damn, I wish I had done that?
Yeah.
I don't want to. I just want to like throw myself at it, and I know you're very much the same.
Yep.
And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Let's move on to the next thing.
Yeah. And I think that's also what a lot of people feel. I think we look at like something and we go, oh, should we do it? So I still am a qualified personal trainer, but I remember personal training. And we'll get into your gastric sleeve here because one of the girls I trained came from a disordered eating background. And I ended up talking to her and she's like, look, I've been thinking about getting the gastric sleeve because my thoughts and my mindset's been going into that bad headspace for her personally. And she goes, oh, but I'm embarrassed. And I said, you're embarrassed to get the gastric sleeve for who? Like, why are you embarrassed to go and do something for yourself, for your own life? I'm embarrassed what people will say and that they'll think that I cheated. And I said, well, it's your life. I said, so you losing the weight for you, I said, who are you going to look at? So if they're not your friends, if they look at you and go, oh, you cheated and you like can't believe you did that and blah, 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 and they put you down for doing something to enrich and better your life for you, that's not a friend. And that's not people that are supporting you. And she was scared to do something for herself, which she did go and do. She went and got the gastric sleeve. She has never thought about going down the path of disordered and all her eating disorder paths again. And she is living her best life. She's since had 2 kids and she's been incredibly happy and she's stayed so fit and healthy because she went, oh, yeah, fuck it. Why does it matter what everybody else thinks?
I think forever there's going to be a taboo around weight loss, weight gain. It's just going to be something that people are always going to have their 2 cents put in about it. To be honest, like I was worried too when I first was going to get it done because for years I've said that I'm body positive and this is where you can get it wrong, right? So you can be body positive but still want to change your body for health reasons or for look reasons. Like it doesn't mean that you hated yourself. You might just want to make some changes.
You actually are very body positive for that. You were body positive when you were bigger. You're body positive now. I mean, you've had your moments, as everybody does.
Yeah, I think we're all going to have those moments where like you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, I shouldn't be wearing that, or I've gained a few kilos, or whatever it is. Like we all go through it. And I think it's a man and a woman thing.
Yeah.
I think everybody goes through it. But I definitely was afraid to say on my Instagram at first that I was going to have this surgery. And then I was like, you know what, actually?
This is my life.
Yeah, it's also my life. But I also know that having that surgery is going to open people up to be like, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't be ashamed that I'm also going for a consult for that surgery because it is not a shameful thing to do.
No.
Like you're doing it for your life. Pretty much having gastric sleeve, it's a long life. It's a life prolonger.
Yes.
That's the reason why you have it done.
Yep.
By having this surgery, you are prolonging your life.
Exactly.
Because for me, I had pre-diabetes, high cholesterol, and I've got a heart murmur. So for me, not having the surgery and staying at the weight I was or getting bigger essentially meant that I would probably die from one of those health conditions.
Yeah, and it runs in your family as well, some of those heart...
Everybody in my family has died from heart issues.
That's exactly right. And it also goes to show that, so your embarrassment, for example, could have held you back from doing something for your own health and well-being. And to be honest with you, I've done shit like that. I have actually, my shame, my embarrassment over things at times has held me back from doing things for my own well-being.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous. And that's also why I find that it's so important to talk about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about, you know, those topics like gastric sleeve or weight loss. And like you said, you can be body positive or you can accept your body but still want to change it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I've also found that when I've talked about it on socials, I've been called, oh, you're promoting obesity. Mm-hmm. Because I'm the biggest that I've ever been, or I'm actually not at the moment, but I was the biggest that I've ever been. And I'm like, hold on. Just because I'm saying that I don't hate myself, which is massive for me, at this weight, doesn't mean I'm promoting obesity.
No.
It's actually going, hold on, hate doesn't motivate. So what good was it me hating myself at over 100 kilos? What good was it doing my body, my soul? You know what I mean?
I feel like the people who make those kind of comments anyways have other things going on in their own mind.
Yes.
And it is projecting.
It is definitely projecting, and it's also what they've been taught. So all their life they've been taught fat, bad, skinny, good. Mm-hmm. So at the worst mental health of my life, I was the thinnest I've ever been. I had freaking abs, visible abs, and I was miserable. And I was eating shit, and I was drinking and smoking and not eating very much and working out excessively. Oh, but you look amazing.
You're so skinny.
You look
great.
must
feel...
You must be doing all the right things. You
Yeah.
must have a great life. Oh, that also equates to, so in my mind, that makes me think of this. If you're thin, you can't be unhappy.
Yes.
If you have a good body, how dare you be depressed? You've got nothing to be worrying about because you look good. So that's all that matters. So I think this is exactly why we want to talk about this shit.
Oh my God, this is 100% why we're bearing it all.
That's right.
Like, this podcast is literally going to open up so many avenues. And that's why too, like, if you guys have any,
Yes.
you know, subjects that you're like, oh, I always want to ask that, but I'm too afraid.
Yeah.
Like, send it to us.
Exactly. Like, we did a open poll and a lot of people have sent in questions that they'd like answered anonymously. So things about their marriage. We did an episode on a lady who feels like she's just a friend with her husband. There's going to be things where, like, sex, for example. How many times a week are you having sex?
Yeah.
And it really took me back. I was like, oh, but everyone's so different. But
Yeah.
I think there's a number in our mind that we think is normal. We're like, oh, you know, once a week, once every 2 weeks, you know, twice a week. Oh, I do it every day. It's different for everybody. But yet this person asked, how many times a week is it normal to have sex with your partner with? Well, I don't know the answer to that question. Do you?
No. I think it depends on each partner.
Exactly. But obviously in the back of her mind, she's concerned about it. She's maybe thinking, oh, we're not doing it enough. Or we're doing it too much.
I think too, in relationships, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if this is how you guys feel, but sometimes some relationships is like, if you're not having sex, you don't love each other.
Yeah.
Well, no. You don't have to be having sex all the time to show that you love each other. There's other things you can do for each other to show that obviously sex is amazing and it's a great way to connect with your partner. But personally for me, I don't feel like I need to be having sex every single day to be like, hey, I love you.
Oh my God, who's fucking got the
You have to be
every
a nympho.
single day?
Nymphos.
I'm fucking tired.
Man, 9 o'clock, I'm watching an
my
episode of something. I'm like, Homer Simpson.
I'm like, the credits come up and I'm like, oh, bad. I'm like, excuse me, I have been touched all fucking day. Someone has touched me, someone has talked to me, someone is on my body. Sometimes the last thing I want to fucking do is have another person touch me. I'm like, even when he puts his foot on my fucking thigh, I'm like, you know, when like you're on the couch and you just like he rubs his foot up. You're like, first of all, I don't like feet, cunt. Oh, sorry. Okay, guys, you're going to hear, ew. No, I'm serious. Get your fucking toes away from me. There will be occasional swearing here. Sorry, I just realised I dropped the C-bomb, but it's one of my favourite words. Sorry, not sorry, okay?
She actually says it in an endearing way. It's not nasty at all.
But yeah, like, Craig, you put your foot on me, 1, feet, ill, and 2, I don't want another person touching me. But that doesn't mean that I don't love sex. It just means that in this stage of my life, there's just so much going, like, especially if you do have kids. And this doesn't, like, even if you don't have kids, sometimes it's just so much work, friends, going out, all the things that you're dealing with. Plus, chuck in a couple of loads of kids that we had. The last thing you're thinking about is, oh, hold on.
We need to have sex.
I don't want to have to feel like that. I want to. And we still do.
Yeah.
But how that ebbs, don't you reckon, like you were saying, it ebbs and flows?
Yeah. And I think too, having a relationship coach on here, like, is going to be so interesting.
Wait. We've got questions of our own.
Yeah, man. This is a subject that is needing a whole episode for.
Yeah, I know. We could get carried away. So this is because it's our first episode, we're feeling like we're just jumping from here to there and everywhere. But it's because we just wanted to give you a taste of life. There's so many topics, all the passion. I think you can definitely hear the passion. Like, I know that there's so much passion behind what we want to share and bring to you guys. And we do want to have you as a part of our journey. We don't want to be like, here's our podcast. We want you to be like, hey, talk about this. We want you involved. We want you on.
Yeah,
here.
that's right.
Like, we want to hear everyday stories. We want to hear from
everyday people. You don't have to be a celebrity, an influencer, a business professional. We want genuine people to come on here and be like, hey, this is something that I'm going through. Yeah. Let's chat about it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, we are all navigating life. And we all go through the same shit. We really do, in different ways. And so often we feel alone. So often. Too often.
Yeah.
And it's because of those reasons that we suffer, that our mental health suffers, that people do feel like depressed. They feel like they may take their lives. It's a huge touchy subject for us because they're too embarrassed, because they're feeling too ashamed to tell somebody that, you know, that they don't orgasm, because orgasms are important, bitches.
That's sad if you haven't ever experienced one.
Yeah, but it can come
because they don't know.
They don't know. Sometimes you don't know. I mean, a guy knows, but a girl doesn't always know.
No.
Like, we need to know more about our own bodies.
Yes. This is so important.
Anyway, I hope we've touched on enough about ourselves. We're just small town girls growing up in Perth, WA, and we both have families and living our lives. We both work jobs on top of doing something like this.
We both have multiple goals for the future.
Yep. We're like crazy. Our heads are everywhere. Like, there's a million different ideas and things running through our heads. That's just who we are, and we can't pretend to be anything that we're not. So we hope that you come along with us for this journey.
Yes. We're excited.
Very excited. So we will talk soon. So in the meantime, take care of yourselves.
And take care of each other.
Talk soon, bitches.
Bye.